In today's news, we're exploring the surprising influence of attractiveness on men's success, the power of eye contact in shaping social behavior, and the effectiveness of cheap migraine medicines. We're also diving into the shocking revelation of illegal caviar in Europe and the fascinating way our brains interpret what we see based on expectations. Stay tuned for these intriguing stories. A recent study published in Social Science Quarterly reveals that physical attractiveness during adolescence significantly impacts future social mobility, particularly in terms of education, occupation, and income. The study, which analyzed data from over 20,000 adolescents in the United States, found that those rated as attractive or very attractive were more likely to experience upward social mobility as adults. Interestingly, the study also found that attractiveness had a stronger influence on men's educational and income mobility than women's. Despite some limitations such as relying on interviewers' assessments of attractiveness, the study provides new insights into the role of physical attractiveness in social mobility. Future research could further explore the mechanisms behind these effects and whether they persist over time. Researchers at the Norwegian Center for Headache Research have discovered that some cheaper medicines can prevent migraines as effectively as more expensive ones. The team analyzed data from over 100,000 migraine patients from 2010 to 2020, measuring the consumption of acute migraine medicines before and after starting preventive treatment. They found that three medicines, CGRP inhibitors, amitriptyline, and simvastatin, had a better preventive effect than the commonly used beta blockers. The latter two are cheaper, established medicines used for depression, chronic pain, and high cholesterol. This discovery could significantly reduce the cost of migraine treatment for patients and healthcare providers. Researchers from McGill University and Université du Québec à Montréal have discovered that eye-to-eye contact is rare during conversations, occurring only about 3.5% of the time. However, this brief contact is significant for social dynamics, as it predicts subsequent gaze-following behavior. The study, which involved participants wearing eye-tracking glasses during a survival scenario task, found that participants spent more time looking away than at their partners' faces. When they did look at each other, they looked equally often at the mouth and eye region. This research opens up new avenues for understanding the social messages conveyed by eye gaze, and how it varies with different interactive contexts. A shocking study reveals that half of the caviar products tested from Europe are illegal, with some not even containing any trace of sturgeon, the fish from which caviar is derived. Despite strict regulations to protect the endangered sturgeon species, researchers found evidence of these rules being flouted in Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, and Ukraine. The study, which involved genetic and isotope analyses of caviar samples, discovered that 21% of the samples came from wild-caught sturgeons, 29% violated trade laws, and 32% were cases of customer deception. Alarmingly, 3 samples from Romania were found to be European catfish and Nile perch, not sturgeon. The researchers call for urgent improvements in the control of caviar and sturgeon trade to ensure the survival of Danube sturgeon populations. Researchers at the Netherlands Institute for Neuroscience have discovered that our perception of others' actions is heavily influenced by our expectations. Previously, it was believed that observing someone else's actions activated our brain in a specific sequence, starting with visual regions and then moving to areas involved in performing similar actions. However, this new study suggests that when observing actions in meaningful sequences, our brains rely more on predictions of what should happen next, based on our own motor system. This means that our brain sees what we would do next, rather than what our eyes are actually observing. This finding supports the idea that our brain is predictive, constantly anticipating what comes next and suppressing expected sensory input. That's it for this week's fill of news from the world of science. Let me know in the comments which story you liked best. Also, if you enjoyed the content, please like the video and consider subscribing. See you next week.